Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy and the Department of Hollywood, which is my number one desire from day one of his presidency, right? And I'm taking the time to define it here on my channel and setting it into place with the hopes that one, my efforts to make Vivek Ramaswamy the next president of the United States of America are successful, right? And then have a plan ready for him to execute, right? Because and I think that's one of the things that's really exciting is we care about politics and we attempt to put our guy in the our lady in the slot so they can do what we've asked for and what we've defined, right? So I'm taking the time to define it here. And what I want to talk about today is how to fix Hollywood through the Department of Hollywood, which would be a massive regulation department, a department specifically designed and set up to massively regulate American art, specifically American cinema, from the perspective that absolutely nothing Hollywood does is not political speech and political action at the end of the day. And that if you pay attention, American entertainment is American politics, and it has been crafting our politics for decades. And it's about time that the Democrats have been quite aware of this and have been winning the Hollywood power war, right? And that it's time for the Republicans to get in the mix, right? And the Department of Hollywood is the perfect way to do it. And so today, what I want to talk about is implementing Patrick Willems' good advice for fixing Hollywood through the Department of Hollywood, and also determining and defining for everyone who has questions. I get it. You're like, oh, hey, Scott, I don't like the idea of Republicans massively regulating American film. Well, guess what? Like, we're in a different time, and we can open up and wake up. We can wake up, open our eyes, and say, oh my gosh, the Democrats have controlled American politics using Hollywood for 50 years. It's about time that Republicans got in the game, and this is how to get it done, right? So, but it's got to be good plans. It's got to be good actions, right? Well, there are sources for good actions, and there are people who know what the next step should be for Hollywood. They just don't know how to get anything done, and that's Patrick Willem. Patrick Willem is the most brilliant man who gets things the most wrong in America. He's an absolute genius who always comes to the wrong end goal, right, on how to get what he wants done, which is kind of exactly what the Democrats are, right? The Democrats intend well and have unicorn dreams and pixie dust, good things that plan for America, but they have zero ability to do anything. And the Republicans are, Palpatine's empire, and we can get done everything we want to do. The problem is literally in our name, conservative, which means we want to do nothing, which is exactly what Republicans often do, right? So we got to get this fixed. So what was Patrick Willems' brilliant idea to fix Hollywood? Well, he had several, and I'm going to confine, and so he's not wrong about everything. He's just wrong about the most important things. But he was dead on right about this. So he did a great video on who killed the movie, right? Now, I don't think the movies are dead, but Patrick Willem had it. It was a great breakdown. And in that, he said, here's how you fix Hollywood. Here's how you start making movies that matter and get movies back on track, right? Which is desperately needed. It's our important intellectual property. We need to get it fixed. And he had this great idea. And his idea was start making and so Patrick Willem just kind of like shot a hope beam into the universe. It was like, Hollywood, please make comedy movies again, right? That's Patrick Willem, and the reason why is I think it's funny because like he has all these good ideas, but he just has zero ability to get it done. But you and I are different, right? That's why we're backing Vivek Ramaswamy. He can win, right? And when he wins, the things we want, he can do. That's how politics work. That's why we care about politics, which I think, and also the reason why I'm saying this is like, don't ever let anybody tell you that what you care about is small, and that what you care about can't be done. Because I think that's what Patrick Willem really believes. Like, he said this idea. He said, "Hey, Hollywood, make comedy movies again," right? But he just asked Hollywood. Hollywood isn't going to listen to him. They don't listen to any. They're not a responsive community. They're not responsive to their caring community, right? Politics are. Like, have you seen how much time President Biden's been spending with the UAW? He knows, right? He knows where his bread is buttered, right? Like, the unions got him elected, right? And so he goes and he listens to them and he does what they ask, right? It's a response. That's why we care about politics. We want to put in somebody who's going to be responsive to us as a caring community. We care about this stuff, and our guy or our gal in the seat can get it done, right? And I just think that's really fascinating with Patrick Willem, whereas he's got this great idea, but he has absolutely no ability to get it done, right? But I'm going to take his idea and I'm going to put it in a place where it can get done, right? Like, so credit to him, but let's put it somewhere where it can actually get done, and here's how. So how do we fix American movies? Patrick Willem is 100% right. The comedy movie has been a victim of our current movie making structure, right? And they don't make, and generally, with extremely few exceptions, comedy movies are not made today, right? And not like they were in the 80s, 90s, and even in the 2000s, right? Probably started ending in the 2000s. So I would say 70s, 80s, and 90s, right? And we need these movies. We need them for a lot of reasons. We need them to churn the profit engine, but we also need them for hope, right? We need people to stop standing in front of a brick wall with a microphone and making us laugh, and start making robust films that make us laugh again. Good comedy films, right? So Patrick Willem's like, "Oh, please, Hollywood, make comedy movies." Hey, trust and believe. Hollywood executives are not listening to Patrick Willem. They're going to try and find the next white line, right? Like that's what's happening, right? But Vivek Ramaswamy is a good man of character, and he does listen, right? And so what could he do, right? So here you go. If Vivek Ramaswamy puts into position on day one the Department of Hollywood can simply, executive order it and say, listen, if you are a movie studio and you have distributed a movie since 2020 that had a 250 million, let's do it this way. If you are a movie studio and you distributed a movie and one of your movies was distributed in America in 2023, and any of your movies grossed $250 million or more, right? So first of all, that's going to cut out all the nonsense shops, right? And all the places that aren't real movie studios, right? But if you fit that criteria, you are required to release 5 comedy movies this coming year, right? And if you don't, the President of America will come to your studio and have a conversation with you. Okay? Right? And the end of that conversation will not go well for your company. Right? And actually, they don't even need to say that part, right? That's the great part. The great thing is if the president comes to your company to talk with your executives, there is a host of problems that the American government can make happen for any business at any moment, whenever they choose, right? Because they have real power, right? And I don't even need to list for you the world of problems that could come to a studio that goes to war with the U.S. government. You know why? Because half the channels on YouTube are telling you right now the woes of Disney, who went to cultural war with the U.S. government, and they are virtually bleeding, right? Very real cost, very real trauma to them as an organization, and they have never been in more trouble, ever. And you will find channel after channel after channel that will detail for you every problem that has been visited upon Disney because they went to cultural war, right? Because they went to cultural war with Disney, which is pretty amazing, right? So that is exactly what is important to understand about about what the U.S. government can actually do, right? And just putting it on the radar, saying, listen, the U.S. government is telling you, make 5 new new movies. And I know what you're like. Oh, Scott, the studios would ignore that. They would not, right? Especially with a Republican in office, right? Because basically Democrats can't do anything. They plan everything, right? Like they have all these plans and all these hopes and all these dreams, and nothing they say gets done. The Republicans aren't like that, right? Like they are get her done, right? Like it is, it's literally a conservative saying, and when they put, rubber down, like it happens, right? And the reality is, I think the Department of Hollywood, realizing that power really does flow from Hollywood in incredibly unique and unusual ways and unexpected ways, right? Once the government is involved in Hollywood, I think the profit engine could churn so strong with forcing Hollywood to remove message and put narrative first. Right now, Hollywood is like, oh, the environmentalism and 5 other check boxes that are super important to us, right? We'll literally burn billions to make this point, right? As soon as the government gets in there and says, listen, you're gonna tell stories. You're returning to old Hollywood. Your job is to tell stories, right? And we'll allow you 5% for message, but 95% has to be story, which is a flip from right now. Right now, every Hollywood project is message, narrative. You guys can push the message aside, maybe to find a narrative somewhere in here, right? And so that's how you get it done. Patrick Willem has a great idea, but he has no ability to get it finished, right? So he's right. We need to return to making Hollywood movies. The way to get that done is to connect that goal to politics. Elect someone and say, listen, I want a Department of Hollywood, and I want them to mandate the creation of 5 Hollywood movies, 5 comedy movies in the next 12 months, right? And trailer released, right? And $100 million budget on top of it. Actually, $50 to $75 million budget on each one, right? And then also, right, a lot of this is going to go said unspoken, right? But if they do this, the government can help these studios, right? And I think they should. And the reality is, let's not pretend, right? The government, you're like, oh, Scott, I don't like this idea of government getting involved with businesses. Do you understand what professional sports leagues are? The government's massively involved in, like, at every level, right? At the local, at the state, at the federal level, there are laws that put their thumb on the scale for virtually every single professional sports league, right? The government has had its thumb on the scales on tons of specific industries, right? And the only thing that's changing now is we're going to do it for something useful, to save something that is 100 years old that needs to be saved. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments, then send your traffic. Please consider subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.